Very quick one today. I've got this handsome young devil here, and it's a very high con image. You can kind of see there's low detail in his hair and in some of the brighter areas, as well as some pretty deep shadows. So I'm going to use the shadow highlights tool in Photoshop. Now, as you can see when you start it up, the very first thing it does is it lightens the shadows. And you can go too far very easily. You can see there's a lot of grain in the darker areas around the knees. But also you can pull up the highlights, which shows you any information that's visible in the highlights of the image. You can kind of see that we can see detail in the hair and in the grasses that you couldn't see previously. As well as top right of screen, there's very little information. So I'll duplicate this layer, pretty much because this is not an adjustment layer that you can play with later. It's sort of baked in once you've applied it. And now I've got that on a layer, I can choose to use all of it or reveal part of it. But I think generally that's pretty good. Next, I'm going to crop away the border of the picture. So selecting the spot healing tool, now I can go in and start to correct any defects in the print. There's a big crease. You can kind of see doing a very large stroke is not going to give us what we want. So working small and methodically, and often stroking in the direction of creases in fabric or anything like that will give a better result. When you're in a larger area like this foliage here, you can be a little more heavy-handed. And here you can see there's fingerprints, I think. Again, what's a leaf, what's a spot or a fleck is quite often anybody's guess. Now, looking at the neural network filters, a little bit of photo restoration here. Now you can see the enhanced face tool has been well too heavy-handed on the face. Starts to look like an illustration, so I tend to leave that off. I don't like a sharp face on a somewhat blurry photograph. But you can see here that the photo enhancement tool is doing a good job of evening out some of the heavy grain. Now, making sure to put this on a new layer, I now have 3 layers. I've got a cleaner looking image with some of that high contrast knocked out. And again, everything is to taste. I mean, that might be too much for some people, but here up the top right as well, there's such a low area of low detail. I'm going to give neural filters a go. The generative fill, leaving that empty, just hitting generate and letting the algorithm see what it comes up with. I don't really care, I just want a nice image. So what that grass looks like, so long as it kind of blends with the rest of it, is fine. And as you can see, it gives you 3 choices as usual, and if you don't like those 3, you can hit that generate button just above them and it'll do 3 more, but I think that's fine. And I give it down here a go as well, but funnily enough I get 3 patches of sand and sticks and leaves here, but they're very, very similar to what I already had. And there you go, original to the cleaned up picture.